Afternoon and welcome to Gradeup. My name is Abhishek Singh and I welcome you all in this really important discussion on this topic, that is what is the issue in the Lakshadweep. All right. So basically, guys, we all must be aware that Lakshadweep, that is also called as the pearl in the Arabian Sea. Okay, so basically you can compare that with the pearl in the Indian Ocean, that is the Lanka or the Maldives. However, Lakshadweep is our very own pearl and one of the most beautiful and serene territories of India. However, since last few days, in fact, a few weeks, it has been constantly hitting the news decks because of some tussles and because of some troubles going on in the Lakshadweep, which is considered to be one of the most peaceful places in our country. What happened suddenly in the Lakshadweep that it became a matter of discussion, it became a matter of concern for the different people in the country. All right. So hello everyone, welcome to this session, and make sure that if you have not joined yet, so join it quickly and also share this session with your friends as well. They can also join this session for the further information. So without any further delay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Abhishek Singh and I have been guiding the UPSC aspirants since 2017. These are the UPSC credentials. I have attended the interview in 2013 and written mains in 2014 and 18. And guys, before we could move on to the topic, I would like to make a great announcement for all of you that if you want to start your preparation journey with Gradeup, so Gradeup is offering you a great opportunity to avail a flat 50% discount on the great occasion of the Father's Day. So just use the code DAD50 and get yourself a discount of a 50% on the live classes or mock test on everything that you join for the Gradeup. Okay, so let's come to the point. In the background, you can see the very beautiful and serene beaches and the small cliffs and atolls of the Lakshadweep. So what is the issue here? So guys, the main issue is all about the Lakshadweep Development Authority. This organization, this body, all right, it is proposed to be established by the administrator of the Lakshadweep, and the regulation empowers the government to constitute the planning and development authorities under it to plan the development of any area identified as having a bad layout or obsolete development. Only the canned areas are exempted from this. All right. So basically, Lakshadweep, which was a type of, say, untouched entity in the different territories of India, now the government has planned, basically the administrator of Lakshadweep has planned to establish a Lakshadweep Development Authority that would be empowering the administrator to decide that what planning and what development they have to do. And the criteria of that will be like bad layout and obsolete development. Basically, now government empowers itself to start any so-called developmental works. And obviously, we all know that Lakshadweep is one of the most eco-sensitive areas having the great biodiversity. And this is why, because see, guys, do not forget that Lakshadweep consists of the rocks of the coral reefs. Okay, so that is why it has a great biodiversity. However, any type of civic construction over those places are definitely going to harm the biodiversity. And this is why many environmentalists and many social activists, as well as many local activists of Lakshadweep and their sympathizers, they are against such proposal. Okay, so I hope you are getting the issues clarity. And why are they against? Because an authority thus created would be a body corporate with a government appointed chairman, town planning officer, and 3 expert nominees beside 2 local authority representatives. So what is the structure of the proposed Lakshadweep Development Authority? What is the structure? It will be consisting of a chairman, okay, chairman, having the other members like the town planning officer, okay, town planning officer, like 3 experts and 2 local authority representatives, basically local bodies representatives. So overall, how many members will be there? 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6 plus 1 chairperson, right? So chairperson plus 6 other people, they will be the total members of the Lakshadweep Development Authority. So this is the proposal of the government or the administrator of Lakshadweep, and what powers they are empowered, what powers they are having. Now there is the big issue in the list of the powers allocated to this body. Okay. First of all, guys, these authorities will be prepared, right? Will be prepared to make the land uses maps, carry out the zonation for type of land use, and indicate the areas for the proposed national highways, aerial roads, ring roads, major streets. Basically, they are going to plan the urbanization of the remote locations. So the same thing that is actually impeding our natural habitats and our natural areas, that is the definition of the development from the perspective of the European and American standards. We are again trying to do the same thing in the Lakshadweep also. That is why it is creating the trouble for the people out there. Good afternoon, Tanvi. Good afternoon, Revati. And welcome to the class, guys. I hope that you will get this class, okay? Completely interesting and informative. So make sure that as you have joined the session, so share this session as well with different people on your platforms of social media. All right. Now, how is the development defined in the draft regulation of the LDA? LDA tries to define the development as, guys, look at the terms: carrying out of building, engineering, mining, quarrying, or other operations on, over, or under the land, cutting off a hill, any portion thereof, or making of any material change in any building or land, or the use of any building or land. Do you understand the gravity of this matter? Guys, see, I understand that the governments must be careful about the sensitivity of the ecological balance in that area, but still this definition of development itself is a very rudimentary, very conservative, and very much frightening definition for the some place like Lakshadweep, where cutting a hill or quarrying and mining in that area, that can be tremendously disastrous. And we, despite having the live examples of the Great Barrier Reef, we are still not serious about it. So that is the definition of development, which must be forbidden, which must be in fact abolished. That development should not be defined as only doing these type of activities, which simply discards the factor of environmental balance or ecological development. Second point that LDA is empowered on: they can ban on contesting the panchayat polls if you have more than 2 children. This may be a contentious matter because it is already under operation in different states, like in Haryana, etc. It is there that in the local elections, if you are having more than 2 children, so you cannot participate into that. However, it is highly protested step. In fact, it was in the time of the Bhupinder Singh Hooda government as well, right? So guys, this is one point that is present. Then this is the another point which is very contentious, and in fact a trouble, in fact, right, a big danger for the ecological system of Lakshadweep. Why? Development plans shall not, either before or after it has been approved, shall not be questioned in any manner in any legal proceedings whatsoever. And it establishes the penalties such as imprisonment for obstructing the development plans, work or workers. Guys, do you see the hints of almost an autocratic planning and layout of the development? It is absolutely autocratic. Suppose that there is a development work like the construction of the road going on in front of your house, and it is said that you do not even have the right to ask that boss, please take the care of privacy because it is going in front of my house. You cannot claim such thing, and you can even be fined if you are trying to initiate any legal proceedings for that, right? Recently, one of the actresses of the Malayali cinema who belongs to Lakshadweep, you might have heard her name. She was charged with the section 124A of the IPC, right? That is the treason, Deshdroh, ya Rajdroh ke mukadme. So basically, these type of things can be done. So guys, it is like, it is like forcing down to your throat the theory of development, that no, even if you don't want the development, we will do it at any cost, even if it takes killing you or snatching your independence or whatever it takes, destroying your environment or whatever. We will definitely make the development as per the typical urban standards. So that is why penalties provision has been put out. Now, processing fees. Now guys, you know what? It is like that, saying that you guys are having the house in a certain area, and if government is doing some developmental works in that area, so government is also saying that since government has worked in your area and now your area has become a posh colony, so you need to pay the processing fees for that. Come on, what the hell is that? Like, do you really think that if the government is developing a city and some people who are already living there, should they be charged the taxes? Are they not paying the taxes already? They are paying, no? So for what exactly you are charging the extra processing fees? So that is a very disputed point on which the islanders are definitely not, and they must not agree on this point, because localities would be required to pay fees to gain approval to alter zones as per the development plans, and fees for the permission to develop their own land. That if somebody who wants to construct the own house in a good manner, or somebody who wants to develop a resort or a hotel on their own land, so apart from the regular charges which are required, like the registration of the commercial property or the construction permissions, or the taxes on the houses and all that, those are different. But you need to deposit a permission fees to develop your own land. How is that? That is again a very atrocious step, and that is provided under the provisions of the proposed LDA. It is proposed that. So what are the criticisms behind the proposal of this so-called development authority, which looks more like a destructing authority? First criticism, ecological fragility of the islands. Guys, Lakshadweep is Lakshadweep is one of the most fragile. What is fragile? Very sensitive, very sensitive area, where even a minute change in the ecosystem or in the, you can say, other environmental operations, it can lead to the loss of the great biodiversity, or even the loss of the habitat of the island itself. Are you getting this? It is like something which is very delicate and very precious, just floating down in the ocean, and you are trying to do something excessively over there, so it may be causing a great and probably irrevocable damage to the existing ecosystem, marine system, and different life and diversities in the life. Okay, so this draft regulation, which is aimed to, listen, carry out building, engineering, mining, quarrying, other operations like cutting of the hills and all that. Do you really believe that these things are required to be done in Lakshadweep at least? Some people who are supportive of this ideology, they can say that yes, it is very comfortable for you sitting in the urban area, enjoying your Wi-Fi and commenting on the Lakshadweep's environmental friendly space. Guys, we must understand about one thing, that not every place should be measured on the same scale of development. Like, if you suppose that Bhutan, a country like Bhutan, starts having the skyscrapers like San Francisco or the Manhattan, etc., do you really think that will be called as the development? Rather, that will be called as the destruction of the environment. So this is why sensibility and sensitivity must be kept in the mind to understand the ecological fragility of the island. Right? Tiny, vulnerable, and densely populated. Okay? Then second is the issues with the infrastructural projects. Okay? So guys, Andros, that is the largest inhabited island, around 4.9 square kilometers, with some 2,300 people over there per square kilometer area. So you can see that almost 10,000 people are there. Okay, and these people, they are saying that what exactly type of highways or mega infrastructural projects are you planning to build on such small lands? Guys, we should understand that in fact the coral islands are having the less density. That's why they are a type of floating places on the sea. That's why it is always recommended that they either must not be inhabited, or if they are inhabited, then they must not be having a huge load of the structural components. And still, despite all these things well known to everybody in the government, in the ministries, under the expert committees, still the administrator is incessantly emphasized on the so-called development of the infrastructural projects, right? Whereas the light, simple roads can, in fact, guys, 5 square kilometer area, what is that? Hardly 2 kilometers wide and 2.5 kilometers long. That becomes equal to the 5 square kilometers. Don't you agree to that? What is square kilometer? Length into breadth? 2 into 3. 6 kilometers square. Guys, rather government should have promoted the construction of the walking lanes, that people should walk down, or simply the cycle lanes or the max to max two-wheelers or the light vehicles of the four-wheelers should have been permitted. Even four-wheelers must not have been allowed. And rather than protecting and conserving such precious pearl, the government is planning to build a highway and don't know exactly what type of infrastructural projects they are planning to do, right? So that is the big point of criticism right now. Exactly, Tanvi, that's the point here, that they all are aware that what is going to be the drawback, but still they are behaving like an ostrich, right? Real estate interests are there. So draft regulation bill is being widely resented because basically all the inhabitants, they are of this opinion that it is to benefit the developers of the commercial properties, that is the real estate interests, right? That is some people who are the scheduled tribes and basically the remote located people, their lands will be either forcefully occupied or purchased on the useless prices by some real estate developers, and they would be developing the 5-star luxury resorts and cuisines and casinos, all these things. Because if we say that copying the Maldives, that is the dream, guys, we should be remembering that Maldives has nothing else to do except for the tourism. Whereas there is no such compulsion. Even the natural beauty of the Lakshadweep can be easily enjoyed and easily visited by many thousands of people. And I can guarantee that as many people visit this Andaman Nicobar, even half of that could not visit the Lakshadweep. Why? Because not because of the poor infrastructure in Lakshadweep or lack of highways and flyovers and casinos and resorts. It is because there is lack of awareness. You should have tried the positive approach to increase the popularity of Lakshadweep among the travelers rather than destroying the inherent conditions and inherent sensitive atmosphere of Lakshadweep, right? So this is why they are opposing it. Forcible eviction is also there. I hope that you read that point very carefully, where it says that anybody who will be protesting even before approval or after approval, anybody who will be protesting against the developmental projects, they will be supposed to pay the fines. They will be charged with the fines. Now guys, you can imagine very well that what can be there, that if comprehensive development plans are prepared for that area, the people have to be relocated regardless of their will. Now, it is not the apprehension that people are unnecessarily building up into their minds. It is the mentioned clause in the development plan proposal. Okay, so that is why what happens? The forcible eviction is done, then the owner is empowered to develop his holding as per the plan prepared by the authority. That means even if you are an owner of that area, still you have to construct exactly as per the plans of authority. Otherwise, they can be heavily penalized. Guys, doesn't it seem to be like some dictatorship working there to force everybody into the line, and then everything else will be decided by the administrator? So if that is happening, that must be resented. And not just that, even the government has the power to choose any land for the development. Remember the definition of development. That means, what is development? Constructing, building, quarrying, mining, cutting the hills. Any land, no matter how much sensitive, no matter how much critical or how much important it is for ecological purpose, if the government wants to create it for the visual beautification, you cannot do anything. So basically, it is all about snatching. Kanchan, I will tell you the questions in the end, don't worry dear. So basically, it is all about snatching the slightest of the power, slightest of the say in the government, in the matters of their own island, right, from the people. It is all about snatching the empowerment of the people away from them, so that they can simply see that what is going on and what should be the process and definition of development without any single voice of resentment. Okay, that is why this thing is something which must be criticized. And you can check the location of the Lakshadweep. You can check that these areas, this is the capital Minikoy, all right, and this is the Androt, the biggest inhabited land, and this is a Kavaratti, the capital. This is Minikoy, the second, also the largest island, you can say. Okay, so these are a few inhabited islands, right? Only those areas which are having green, only those are inhabited. Okay, otherwise these are uninhabited. All right. So other laws proposed by the administrator. What are some other laws which are proposed? Have a look on that. Allowing the liquor sale. Lakshadweep has the liquor ban, right? Like Gujarat, it also has. Sale and consumption both are banned. So why do you think that it should be permitted? First of all, to boost tourism, you could have utilized, because guys, the Lakshadweep has the ban on the liquor, does not mean that Lakshadweep has no original delicacy or no original drinks available for the tourists to be offered, right? So rather, the good idea would have been that they should have promoted the offering some generic or some local drinks prepared by the people in that area, mostly probably like made from the palms, okay, palm tree, or made from the coconut, something like that. Some unique type of blend should have been prepared. That would have been a real innovative thing to literally boost the tourism, rather than providing the liquor. I understand that it is easier for the government also to manage the quantities of liquor, and it is also convenient for the public, the tourist public as well, to procure the liquor. But guys, we must not allow something which has been banned there since ever, right? Why so? Because the sentiments of the public is much more important, na? But still we are playing like that. Anti-social activities regulation bill is about to be brought. Now what is that? That is the proposed law which allows, what is, guys, preventive detention, which allows the preventive detention of a person, that he can be arrested without any warrant, only on the basis of suspicion. Now guys, it is the matter on the record that Lakshadweep has the least crime rate according to the National Crime Records Bureau, and still unnecessary type of, guys, we all should understand that when there is the less rate of crime, and less rate of crime means peaceful society, and where there we are unnecessarily poking our fingers to instigate the people, so that can have an effect similar to a boomerang, similar to a reverse impact. So rather than disturbing the status quo, the government should have refrained from doing this thing, but still they are bringing this undesired bill called Anti-Social Activities Regulation Bill. Then, beef ban versus cow slaughter law. The administrator also proposed the Lakshadweep Animal Preservation Regulation, that cows, bulls and bullocks shall not be slaughtered. Now guys, this is something very, very sensitive as a topic, but we must understand one thing, that if the state of Goa, in the name of culture, can allow the cow slaughter or the basically cattle slaughter, so why can't Lakshadweep do that? In fact, if the cattle slaughter is allowed or permitted in the northeastern states to respect their respective or their unique cultural identity, so why can't Lakshadweep? This is the simple question, which should be asked. So this is why it seems very pretentious and very much you can say similar to a conspiracy to destabilize one of the most peaceful, one of the most beautiful, and probably only union territory with the huge majority of the Muslims population as well as the scheduled tribes population. Basically, they are the Muslims for the sake of saying, because they are actually the scheduled tribes. And we all know that scheduled tribes, they can accept whatever religion they want to accept. That does not change their status as the scheduled tribes. We must understand this thing very, very clearly, right? So that is why, guys, I think it must be very accredited and very much great effort by the government if the government leaves the Lakshadweep, the plan of development of the Lakshadweep, on the designs of the proposed LDA. Rather, what should be the solution to this problem? That government must focus to develop the inherent capacities of Lakshadweep as a tourist place, must try to promote the eco-friendly alternatives of development, and must try to take the public, take the public into confidence before doing any sort of changes in the status quo of Lakshadweep. Otherwise, we all know that due to the lack of understanding of the matters related to the diplomacy, related to the defense, internal security, external affairs, due to the lack of understanding of these things, we have seen that certain peaceful areas, certain typical areas for India's security, India's maritime interests, they have been slipping out of India's control. And the best example is none other than Sri Lanka, none other than Nepal, and none other than even the Chabahar railway link project, about which I have taken the classes. Even these actually are some of the examples. Yes, those are the examples in the field of the external affairs, but due to improper understanding and improper handling of the content, what has been the result? All these are actually draining, they are all drudging away from India. Similarly, in our internal matters as well, we have been able to complicate the simple matters in our past, like Jammu and Kashmir, that was complicated, like the matter of Aksai Chin, that was complicated. Similarly, guys, we can also complicate Lakshadweep if we will not remain careful. Got it? So let me tell you some questions, that how are the questions asked from this particular topic, how can these be asked? Okay, so a very simple question which can be asked from this proposed law or the current situation of the Lakshadweep, that consider the following. Consider the following. Statement number 1, that the Lakshadweep Development Authority Bill proposed to bill is proposed to establish a body for infrastructural and tourism development in Lakshadweep. Statement number 2, it is written here, statement number 2, that this body defines the development as any activity related to building, construction, quarrying and mining, okay, quarrying and mining, etc. Right? So which of these are correct? 1 and 2, 1, only 2, none of these. So answer will be both of these are correct. Second question can be like that consider the following statements. Statement number 1 will be that Lakshadweep consists of the coral reef islands out of which only 10 are inhabited or inhabitable. 10 are inhabitable. Statement number 2, Lakshadweep is the smallest union territory as per the area. Statement number 3, it is the territory with the least crime records as per National Crime Records Bureau 2019. So now what should be your answer? Suppose if there are choices, right, there are some choices, for example, only 1 or only 1 and 2, only 1 and 3, or all 1, 2 and 3. Okay, all 1, 2 and 3. So what should be your answer into this one, guys? What should be of this one? What should be the answer of this one? I think it should be all of the above, na? All of the above. By lowest crime record is also there. Smallest area of 32 square kilometer. Okay, 32 square kilometer only. That is the total area of the inhabited islands of the Lakshadweep. So that should be there. Okay, and first is also correct. Coral reef island hai, and 10 islands are inhabitable. Right? So that is why such questions can be asked from these type of topics. So guys, apart from the questions asked from these topics, it is the importance of the topic which also makes it very sensitive, that guys, this is related to the sensitivity of the people as well. Sensitivity of the people as well. So that is why we must be not just acquainted, but we must be very much, you can say, active towards dealing with such topics in our respective spaces. All right. So guys, thank you so much for attending the session. I hope that it was an informative session as well as the session which was an eye-opener for all of you. So don't forget to share this with all of your friends. You can also post it on your social media channels as well, on the Telegram, WhatsApp, or Facebook, etc. You can invite your friends to watch this lecture as well. And in case they are preparing for the UPSC, you can ask them to join the Gradeup Super subscription by calling on this number. It's very easy and simple to join. And if they do it today, what benefit are they going to get? Guys, today is the Father's Day. We all know that. They just use this code called DAD50 to avail a flat 50% discount. Okay, 50% discount. So guys, thank you so much for attending the session, and make sure that you join the Telegram channel of Gradeup IAS to get the soft copies of these things and such topics, and don't forget to share and subscribe to the YouTube channel of Gradeup IAS. और अगर वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो लाइक करना बिल्कुल मत भूलिएगा, और अगर कोई सजेशंस हो या कोई भी आपका सुझाव हो जो बेहतर बना सके इस वीडियो को, तो डोंट हेजिटेट टू टेल अस इन द कमेंट्स. कमेंट करके बताइए कि हाउ कैन वी ब्रिंग सच मोर इंफॉर्मेशन. अगली बार आप कौन सा टॉपिक जानना चाहेंगे, आपको किस टॉपिक के बारे में वीडियो चाहिए, कमेंट करके हमें बताइए. वी विल डेफिनेटली ट्राई टू ब्रिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. थैंक यू सो मच गाइज, ऑल द बेस्ट एंड हैव अ ग्रेट डे अहेड. टेक केयर, बाय बाय and have a thank you so much.